Hey bookish baddies. So today I want to talk a little bit about a couple of books that ruined me, but I also want to get a little bit deeper than just that surface level of like, OMG, these books shattered my soul. Because let's get real for a minute. There's a reason why these books and books in general speak to us, right? And that's because we're out here, each of us living our own unique and trauma-touched lives. And I think a lot of readers, myself included, read as a form of escapism or therapy. So a couple of the books I want to talk about today are a couple of examples of my own personal journey with love and loss, with SA and trauma, and mental health. And I hope this speaks to someone else. I see you, I hear you, I believe you, and you're not alone. I'll talk about this more in depth in the future, but a few months ago, I lost my mom when she was just 58 years old after a 10-year battle with addiction and mental health struggles. The night she died, I actually had finished the third book in the Zodiac Academy series, and I had stayed up to finish it. It was a Sunday night, and I had to work the next day, but I stayed up really late. And when I found out the next morning that she had died, I felt so guilty and conflicted that I had stayed up late reading like this silly book, frankly, when she was in pain and ultimately dying. There was a lot of blame and what ifs that I went through, and it took a long time for me to come to terms with that component of her death specifically. So when I read Zodiac Academy, and I only have the first book, I read almost exclusively on my Kindle, so I get trophy books, but Zodiac Academy's Beyond the Veil, I read it barely a month after she died, and frankly, it cut me to the core. I mean, this book, I actually took a screenshot of the dedication page because it spoke directly to me, it felt like. And throughout the book, I was simultaneously battling with my emotions over these fictional characters, and what they were experiencing with my own experience with my mom's unexpected death. This book was an instrument in my grief journey, and it was exactly what I needed at the time. It'll always hold a special place in my heart. But I wanted to read the dedication itself because it says, "This book is dedicated to those who wait for the living to join them beyond the veil, watching ever on, and to those they left behind. May you be brave enough to follow the longings of your heart to far-flung places, adventure into the unknown, take leaps of faith, and dare to dream bigger than the moon. Be brave, be hopeful, and be you, and give them the show of a lifetime." I mean, come on. Okay, the next book I want to talk about, Releasing 10 from the Boys of Tommen series by Chloe Walsh. This book said, let's unpack generational trauma and the effects of emotional and physical neglect while making you fall in love with a couple of broken kids who just need to be seen and believed, right? I relate uncomfortably well to Lizzie Young. I share a lot of her experiences and trauma, and this book presents some incredibly horrific concepts surrounding abuse and trauma in a way that no other series that I have ever read does. The author is unapologetic in her descriptions, and she doesn't sugarcoat or use like the fade to black concept in situations where a lot of authors would never dream about engaging with these topics on the actual page. This book is raw and devastating, and it's also real life for so many people. I know there's been a lot of criticism of this book for the perceived lack of trigger warnings, but I remain grateful to Chloe Walsh for her candor, her authenticity, and her strength in being willing to bleed onto the page from her own experiences and give us these characters. Huey Biggs is my #1 emotional support fictional character, and I fear I will never recover from this book. It consumes me. Also, huge shout out to Chloe Walsh for somehow writing awful complex trauma situations in a way that feels like the collective therapy that we all need. Okay, and finally, just to bring back some levity in this conversation, Kingdom of Ash. Okay, by Sarah J. Maas. So this was not a book. This was a mental health retreat with witches and war crimes. Aelin literally carried the weight of the world on her shoulders, and girl, same. Same. The depiction of pain, resilience, and choosing to fight anyway, this is an excellent series, and this book, to close it out, was, a sob-filled, beautiful redemption to end on, and it lives rent-free in my head. Books like this don't just wreck you, right? They reach you. Sometimes the only way to make sense of your own shit is to watch fictional characters survive theirs. Reading, honestly, the best therapy I've ever known.